Wir starten jetzt ganz herzlich mit der ersten Session und zwar zum Thema Covid-19 in Europa. How did the creative scene in Greece survive? Und ich freue mich umso mehr, meine 3 Gäste willkommen zu heißen. Wir haben Christian Goiny, der Moderator. Wir haben Tenia Menegaki und Mario Husten. Herzlich willkommen.
Yes, I hope I am also seen in the camera and not only the column. So, Kalimera from Kulturbrauerei, Kalimera dear Tenia from Thessaloniki, and of course Kalimera dear Mario. Now, what we're talking this morning is really a serious thing. It's something that kept us busy, or unfortunately not busy, the last 1.5 years. We're talking about how COVID-19 was stopping all the culture, creative and nightlife, not only in Germany, as we always think, but in the whole Europe and the whole world. And sometimes it makes sense to compare how things were going on in other countries. What did the state do? What does the Greek government do? And how do the Greek culture and creative scene react? And therefore, we have an expert from Thessaloniki, Tenia Menegaki. She's doing a lot of creative work as a designer, as a creative space owner, Apodec, a very famous place in Thessaloniki. We know this. And we have Mario Husten, who is now running the Holzmarkt in Berlin. And he was a publisher, journalist, and lived for some years in Greece. So he's also very experienced with Greece and knows very good also about the Balkan and the places and how they are going there. So we can compare a little. And that's the idea of this morning. And so my first question to Tenia is maybe you can explain first a little what did happen in Greece when COVID started, what were the measures and the things the Greek government did, and how do you react as the artists and creative people in Greece?
Well, hello. Do I have to do something? No. Well, the thing is that we were not expecting that everything will stop that radically, and we were faced that, especially for the artist and creative scene, there was actually no plan in the beginning. It was like, of course, first of all, government thought that we will have to protect the health system, and this is our priority. Then to protect the households and employees that they have no work, but there was no real plan for the creative and artist scene. So there was like that was a good start. I will try to speak about the negative things, but also to find some light in what happened. And the light was that we all realized, especially, I will talk about Thessaloniki, even though this is something more general. We realized that we were all working alone and cooperating with people that we were hanging along in a good way, or we were doing nice things together, but we did not have a strong community. That period of time I was really watching what you were doing here with the Club Commission and how fast was your reaction here, and talking of course with friends, I realized that we are a lot of steps back from reacting as a community and do things or ask for things as a strong community when something like, okay, pandemic, nobody could ever imagine that would happen in our life, in our generation. But even for more simple things, we would not have a core body of the creative scene as to react. So for me, that was the most important thing to realize, and we can discuss later, if you like how we are starting to react for this part. So government did not really help the artists until now. They, especially actors and singers, they have more complaints, and this is a negative word like complaining, but they have all the right to not depend on the government, but to expect from the government to support. So they did not have the support. People that were owning business, even in the creative scene, we could have some kind of help for the rentals, but then this would be dependent from your taxes, and so there was some kind of help, but again it was not that kind of support that could help you to exist for this totally gap period of time of many months, so that you can survive and keep going when things are better, like now things are getting better. So I don't know if it was too much or too general, but we can start from this point to see.
Yes, thank you so much. Mario, it sounds a little similar to what we were facing in Germany. I mean, talking about community, you mentioned that there was not really a community, an organized community.
Yes.
Holzmarkt is a kind of community and an internationally connected community, and you also know the Greece and the Balkan. What would you say, in addition to what Tenia was mentioning, how the situation is comparing to what we were facing the last 1.5 years?
I can just underline what Gense just said, that the community, the club community, and I would not say that Holzmarkt is the only community. The club commission, together with almost all clubs, decided to close the venues even before the authorities instructed to do so. So it was a very responsible and, let's say, adult reaction to this, and we were closed for now more than 20 months, actually. So the first clubs are opening now very responsibly. So you have seen that at Berghain. So we had the first club night last Saturday. So we developed on our own, together with all the supporters from the club commission, programs and systematic how to organize open airs, to follow rules we even don't know yet, you know. And so it happened that you organized events without knowing whether they take place or not. So it was a very active period. It was a kind of desperate period. You have seen that during the pandemic, when it was allowed to have an open air, it was, you know, an overwhelming reaction. So you have seen the queues at our place. So this was so in Germany, I would say it was a very responsible reaction by the community. The government, I don't know whether they did enough or not. I think that they don't have a clue how culture and music industry functions. So because so we survive because we are a community. So we actually own the land, and we have hired hundreds of people officially, so we can get the Kurzarbeitergeld. But for the artists, for the DJs, there was nothing. There was no booking at all. So we had the first booking, I think internationally, it was two weeks ago when friends from Istanbul and from Belgrade came. And so for them it was for 20 months the first job at all. And they didn't get anything. So, and this is something, there are different perspectives on the pandemic. For us as a community, as a place, it was good to have the club commission, to have the support by the government, but I think that the artists, this will become a big problem, because I know that many of the artists had to change. They had to look for other jobs now to come back. They are even afraid of the audience.
Yes, thank you so much. The restrictions in Greece, as far as I understood, were very strict. maybe a little stricter still than in Germany, or it was a little different in Germany, but let's say in Germany. And is one problem also in Greece, what Mario was mentioning, that politics and government don't really understand how important culture, creativity and nightlife is?
Yes, of course, and I would like to add like something which is, from my point of view, like really, I will say funny, but it's kind of ridiculous. Let's say that the Minister of Economy from Greece, when the pandemic started, he said that why should we support the independent artists since they are already working so many years in the black market. So if you say that with the position of the minister from economy and not like a person just sit on a bar, it's like you accept the fact that you support with zero money or zero security your people that work in the artist market, and so now you not only admit that, but you say that I don't have to support you. So for the independent artists, it's exactly what Mario described, that they would have to change job or just wait if they have another source for money to live. So, and only from that we can understand that, yes, of course, they don't know how this works, and they always think that maybe it's your kind of, you do work as an artist or as owner of a creative business just because you like it. And you can find the way, even if you are working, you have to work on a black market or not, you will find a way to do it. So we don't have to work with you. We can support, I don't know, in Greece they supported media and nothing else. So, I mean, their support were mostly there, so we did not have, we had regulations that they were strict, as you mentioned, but also they were not making any sense sometimes. Like, so you would have open coffee places slowly, and then you would have for the weekend 6 o'clock closing everything, but in the middle of the week 9 o'clock closing everything. So these regulations are regulations that they don't make any sense, and they make you like not be trustful for the government. Like, you don't feel safe with all this. Or you would have your restaurant or your bar open but with no music. You can imagine that all this for the artists, DJs, creative scene, for the owners, it puts them in a position that they don't know how to step in the new era, the after Corona, as we say. We are not after, we are still there, and we are just trying to do our steps by controlling things. I also try to do a program, to make a program with other people for Thessaloniki, but as you mentioned, we are making things, we are making plans for next month, but we don't know if we are gonna make it to reality, like. But we still want to do our plans. So this is the way now.
Maybe now Corona is more or less, everyone expects it to go away.
Yep.
What shall be the result? What should the creative and the culture scene learn out of it? I mean, we know that the danger is away, everything can open again. What have we to learn about it? Shall we start new kind of lobbying, organizing each other better, and also fighting to get the freedom back? I mean, the governments all over the world, maybe they saw that with this pandemic they could regulate things they were normally not allowed or didn't regulate. So, as you mentioned, stop at 6, stop at 9, doesn't make sense, but you can do it. How can we could we stop it that these regulations are not also existing in the future? So, I mean, I see a danger also in Germany, but also in Greece, that the government tries to keep some restrictions as long as possible, or to keep a door open to have the option for restrictions. What do you say as someone from the creative scene? How should we deal with this?
The politics, there are definitely some learnings, I think, for the politics if they take that pandemic serious, because the bashing of the youth, of the club scene in the very beginning, this was really annoying, I have to say. And what we did with test station, with vaccination programs, with our hygiene programs, so we were the front runners of public events to bring back the social life on the streets again. So, and this is really disgusting. The politics didn't trust. So, and we had one anecdote. The RKI, the Robert Koch Institute, asked us whether we would like to have a vaccination station. So we said yes, but of course. So guess how many people they found not vaccinated at our place? 0. 0 person, and they actively approached the people. So, and that's why I think that the youth suffered the most. Not the vulnerable groups, but the youth suffered the most in the pandemic. And I don't talk about the kids in the schools. So, and this is something we definitely have to take that serious. I think, yes, the fight will be to get the freedom of the nightlife back, because we will not accept that you have to identify to get into a club. This will not happen in Berlin, I think. And for me, it's a question. So the cultural scene, as Gemse said, has grown. Actually, got more professional, experienced how cooperation could work. And during the pandemic, the Deutsche Bundestag decided that clubs are now cultural places. Wow. It's not like a sex shop anymore, you know. It was at the same level. So, and this is something that that is actually good, but it's just the beginning. And the biggest problem is, as you know, gentrification. The people get used to silence, but to the city belongs the sound of the city, and this will be a huge problem. So, and we got the first complaints. You play music. There are people on the streets, on the public markets. Wow, we got a citation because we opened our place, no bar, no food, just the place at the river. And then we got a citation, several hundred euros, because we organized a forbidden event. Just to because we are a private place, we have trees, we have the riverbank, we are obliged to have it open for the public. And you know about the public parks and places in Berlin, what happened there. So we had security there. So this is contradictory behavior, and as you said, nobody could follow the rules because you don't even know. And when the Ordnungsamt came to our place twice a day, we got contradictory instructions.
So was it similar to Greece, to the culture and creative scene? How did the process manage to start again now the last months? I mean, now the bars and the places are open in Thessaloniki again and in Greece, right? And yes. Is it a similar situation?
Well, I was smiling all the time that Mario was talking, because I was like, I feel exactly the same things that we were facing. Well, of course, even in a more chaotic way. So we started first like with only seated people. So you cannot be around and stand. You could not. Then you could not stay at the bar. Then you could not listen to music. Now everything is allowed inside the places, but only for vaccinated people. So it's immediately from something crazy that would not allow you even normal things to do, like with your vaccination, then you are just the next day you could do anything, like even risk more than before. So that makes no sense. And I totally agree that the most difficult thing to do now is how to get over this habit that we have, this new feeling that we cannot really be in loud places. We used to have, I think we were talking about this also privately, like we are used to arrange our daytime, and we forgot how to make program for our life after 11, 12 o'clock in the night. So this is something that even bars in Thessaloniki that they were after, and when we were saying after, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, people would go there. Now these kind of places, they are closing 4 o'clock in the morning, even though they are allowed to be open. So this is something that maybe we have to respect our new feelings, that we are not in that position yet, and we have to make slower steps, but we have to make these steps. We have to respect what we are, like not force ourselves, but we have to try to find a way, not only for the youth, but for everybody, like to find again what we lost, even not in the same way, but differently. And another very important thing for us, that we are not so much used to be organized as a community, as I said before. This will be a very, very good starting point to create communities that are strong enough and would react better even from now, and like to learn from this. Yeah.
When Tenia is mentioning that bars are closing at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning because they are not used to party the whole night, when you're mentioning that people are disturbed by noise now, so can we say that nightlife is suffering a kind of post-COVID syndrome?
I don't think so, because I experienced the opening of 2 clubs, and I don't think so, because the rules were, as we said already, so we had during the summer, we are organizing a festival, as you know, with usually 15,000 people for 4 days. Now we had 12 festivals with 900 people, and it worked, because it's a different approach, because you have it set up for the entire season, so you have a lower budget, and the people actually enjoy to be together, follow the rules. It was hard to stop after 12 hours because the sleepover was the problem, not the party itself. So, and as you have seen with the Fusion or the Nation, so very responsible approach towards the problem. And I think there are many learnings, and the people will not forget to dance the night between Friday and Monday.
So we can have an optimistic view to that point, but do we also have an optimistic view to the, let's say, economic side of some places who are organizing art and creativity? I mean, they also had no money for a long time. How many places had to close, creative culture places had to close in Greece because of COVID? Can you give us an image?
I don't think that I can give a number or a clear image, but if we don't talk only for galleries or offices, designer offices or creators, and we put under this umbrella generally places like for short life concerts and things like that, then we had a lot of places that they had to close, or they had to rearrange what they were doing. And but the optimistic thing is that I also see that people, they really want to be part of things like to go on exhibitions, to go on festivals. They don't really go out every day in the bars, but they really want us to arrange concerts, exhibitions, and you see that I had my first exhibition in my place 2 of September because the artist was not living in Thessaloniki, and we thought that, okay, last days that you are here, we will arrange it, otherwise it's not worth it that you are not here. And even if it is still summer, for Thessaloniki it's like almost 40 degrees and everything, whoever comes, it will be okay, because this can be a start point. And this place is just at a pedestrian street, and it was full of people. I was super happy that I saw this nice gathering, and people were there, and really they wanted to be part of it. So this is something that we also discuss with other friends, that we have to arrange concerts to invite people from other countries from Europe, because we all want to go again in this kind of things, even though bars are still not open all the night. And you can see that in Thessaloniki, you can all experience that when you come. It's maybe one Saturday more with more life, and all the rest is not as you remembered. But everybody wants to do things again. That's a very, very positive thing.
So
Yeah.
do we need also other concepts for culture and nightlife? I mean, you mentioned your festival with 15,000 people, and now you said you did more smaller things with about 900 people. And Tenia is saying that people are more spontaneous maybe, or you cannot plan so many things in advance. Do we have to be more spontaneous, or what do you think?
It's good to be spontaneous. I don't trust concepts, and not at all concepts made by politicians for culture. That's for sure. And I think I'm not afraid actually that the subculture will not survive. The subculture and the music we are talking about, the electronic music and the young music, they will find their way in the subculture. They don't need state protection or state initiative or some push. This is not what I'm afraid. I think, yes, the learnings will come. This conference will be one gathering where the people can exchange the experience, and we don't know yet how the figures will be at the year end, because all the support from the state ends now, and we have to get the people back to work. We don't find people anymore to work at the bars and the clubs, so it's difficult to find people. We will see at Stadt nach 8 conference that this will be a gathering where at first internationally the people come together, and we will see. So I'm optimistic. We will find ways, and we will find concepts, and we just have to be self-confident enough to not to bring ourselves in a position to explain or to excuse that we are here, because this was in the first period of pandemic, as I said, a really disgusting thing, and this would be nice if the politics would say some sorry for that.
Yes, sorry for that, because I got a sign that we reached the end of our session. And thank you so much, Tenia and Mario, for joining me here this morning at the Most Wanted Music Conference. And who else wants to come here to Kulturbrauerei should do this, because we have a lot of other interesting panels. And of course, we have to visit Thessaloniki very soon. Thank you, Tenia, for being here.